Hey everyone, Shawnee here. I know we are supposed to start the next episode by now, but I want to make a few notes on this particular episode. Well, okay, mainly one. Mainly because one of the characters by the name of Miss Skeleton, she is my 7 foot tall half blood moose character that I absolutely fell in love with. Was my half blood OC or persona or such or whatever. But all thanks to the permission of Siren's son, Lovey Bro, that allowed me to at least make this character freely. So, with that in mind, some of the lore featured in here is all based upon Siren Son's Half Blood universe and everything in between, and all the playlist is featured right in here, and his work is totally amazing. And he granted me permission to mention the lore and such, since you may, as if you haven't figured out by now, Nyarb is based upon the human brain, which in this case, for my version of Nyarb, is my own human brain. So, yeah, to kind of give you a little bit of an idea. But anyways, I wanted to let you know that everything featured in the lore and such, Siren Sons fans, you will definitely recognize this. But anyways, thank you, bro, for allowing me to feature this and giving the blessing and all that. Go and subscribe to his channel. He's awesome. Bye!
Near the Grand Library is a 3-story building where visitors are greeted by a red-brown wooden sign with a painted image of a bison skull covered in turquoise stone.
Excuse me, Dr. Newcastle. Do you mind slowing down? There's only so much a ringtail cat can write down with these little paws.
The Turquoise Skull was a place where all could unwind and workers would often meet to trade, fellowship, or speak their minds. Gigi still felt uneasy after removing the bloodbane from Lamar Lupin's system. The Warden Lakin claimed that she had never been to the inn.
I'm thinking that Arango Palmer would numb my nerves before the foreseeable tanning of Lottie's new rug. It's a valuable piece of Telpy-ware, due to the years of starfall dust keeping the tin seasoned and making each batch better than the last. It was also a souvenir from when we went to a well-known realm during our mating moon. Ah, lad. Good. You'd come to say goodbye before my inevitable end.
I'm sure that Lottie will understand the reason why, Rodgers.
Hey, Miss Galatian, I didn't expect to see you back so soon. Took up another class to teach?
Indeed, I have. Arthur insisted that if I needed to fulfill my clinical field hour requirements. Besides, I needed to lie low for a while from my other realm.
Is the sanctuary being sacked?
No, not yet. But there have been some rumors. In the meantime, though, I'm taking the liberty to teach the Tekla pages and squires some history and literature here. Sorry, lad, but even the warriors of old had some education in their arsenal. Not many people or creatures get that luxury. Someday, lad, you'll appreciate the values of being able to read and write. And who might these fine young individuals be? A pleasure. My students call me Miss Skeleton, but you can call me Miss Gal or just Gal if you wish.
Miss Gal's been teaching various students in both her world and our local schoolhouses for novices, regardless of race and status.
Hoo hoo hoo, how I reside in two places? Well, I shall tell you. But first, let's go inside. I am famished, and conversation with fellowship make the meal taste even better, especially among friends.
My last meal, probably.
You betcha, ma'am. The smell is certainly divine. It's provided the best berry porridge over the 2 years I visited this place.
Good evening, Miss Gal. Lord Rodgers?
Maddie, I didn't see you in class today. Is everything all right?
Oh, yes, I am. But we are overwhelmingly understaffed again. The last barkeep quit after the prompter wore him out. Arteris is holding down the bar and trying to get the circulates delivered to the guests.
Circulates. It's Corinthian, which means substance or food, roughly. Surprised you don't know the basics, lad.
May have to suggest that to Prince Owen for ya, Ladybug, since apparently your education needs a little sharpening.
Sounds like someone needs the Durango Palmer special. What else can I get for each of you? Our special today is a rich variety. We have a hodgepodge with honey cornbread simmering cooked on top, honey glazed roasted quail, a spring mixture with seasonal berries, tomato basil with sourdough bread, and finally a sweet meat with roasted prickly pear. It's understandable. Master Coyle wants to be sure no man or creature is ever left out. I'll come back to you all later after the drinks. Speaking of which, the usual mix for the Moose Mentor?
Yes, please. And spice up the mango lair, please. With a little extra of your signature sauce.
Master Rodgers?
I know what I want to eat. Hodgepodge with Durango Palmer. Please. A tall pint.
Facing the missus after a shenanigan? Very well. One last, well, not really, meal for the Raccoon Lord of Mischief. And you, young master? Ah, excellent choice. You finally decided, miss? If it were up to me, I would pick that one and accommodate it with that beverage. Perfect. I shall start off with the drinks and bring them to you shortly.
Thank you, Maddie. Now, where were we?
You were about to talk about your educational background, reminding these pups that there's humans have it good. You see, Gal here was formerly a slave in her world.
Sadly, I was born a slave due to what I am. You see, where I come from, slaves were never allowed to learn how to read or write. So most of my kind, the half-bloods, were assumed to be as dumb as the animal counterparts that we reflect. Even the slaves that served scholars weren't allowed, fearing that they would steal the information and turn it against their masters. I was formerly a slave on a plantation owner and was a servant for the owner's son, who had a private governor that would give private tutoring sessions. Ah, thank you, Maddie. I would be fanning the young master in the courtyard gardens while the lessons went on, and I took in every ounce of information and sewed it into my mind. I would often practice in the dark of the night, writing and reading the words I would find and inscribe them in the dirt. Every time I was interrogated whether or not I could or could not understand the words, I would just be playing the simpleton role that they wished to see me as, if only for their viewpoint. What was my first spoken word? Good question, boy. Kind. I chose the word kind, but that's what I wanted to be when I'm grown. I'm still growing at times, even as an adult. Well, lass, that is a remarkable tale. It turned out that the governor was a half-blood sympathizer and an abolitionist in secret. He must have seen that in my eyes that I was a scholar that was being formed inward, even when I stood as a slave, or so he told me. He planned on helping me escape, along with another half-blood, to free us from the lady of a house that was looking to purchase us. Of which, looking back now, I'd shake in fear so much that I do not wish to repeat her name here, for she would send those who she would deem worthy to be that of sport, of my fellow kind butchering one another. My former master knew that my father's bloodline was that of arena fires. He assumed that I would have to have the savage affliction to fight as my parents did. And if that wasn't suited, it would have been a far worse mate if they would have used me as a means to continue the line.
Indeed. It's extremely barbaric.
And here we are. Looks like Lord Doomskin needs another pint.
Ooh. Yes, please, Maddie.
All right then. And oh, here we are, your meals, ladies and gentlemen. And please, enjoy.
As I was saying, the abolitionists managed to get me and that half-blood out with the help of the young master, by hiding in a hay wagon. Fast forward to recently, I found a magical book that transported me to the worlds between the worlds. I met a steward librarian there, who furthered my education in order for me to teach free slaves of my kind how to read and write. Eventually, I adapted that to all creatures with them, along with humans.
Because she's of another dimension. Miss Galatian can't really teach the younger stewards. Have to be nearer born. And have to graduate from the seminary. Well, lad, my family and I were originally immigrants of the tunnel. I was grandfathered into teaching the position before those laws changed 2 years ago. High Knight and Chief Commander Kendra had enforced the laws as part of the border control method of the tunnel. It was a means to fix the mess of the previous members of the Congressional Congress made on not filtering and protecting renegades in the land from the tunnel. Fortunately, I have been a member of the Thelmian Council long enough to have a good credibility and a rather impressive teaching record. Kept my job and my seat. I wasn't at the meeting, because Vincini was my apprentice long ago. I couldn't allow my influence of power to table the turns that Shu would have wanted.
I can still be able to teach in a district in another world as a student teacher after getting consent from another Teklar commander of the area. A requirement for us tunnel dwellers. Tunnel dwellers. That's what the people of Nayab call those who are not of this nation. Or should I say, world.
Blame the Frontarian stewards for sharing that absurd. They may have the House Congressional Congress for the stewards, but they're
the source of structured decisions that made sure the other nations are just as secured as your job, Lord Rodgers.
Can't my inevitable crossing just be peaceful?
Crossing? Surely your mate would understand the noble sacrifice you made by having Lady Lupin's kinsman saved thanks to that Jacklamire. Having to vomit in the tin saved the poor creature from crossing of embarrassment. Poor creature. Still looking a bit green after all the withdrawing of that blood vein. And my dear warden, you've never given this poor creature proper substance, while you all gorge in this king's feast.
Here you go, little guy. Sorry it took so long. The decapitated chickens took longer than anticipated to get the blood into it, but here it is. Blood orange chicken soup.
But I didn't order it, thank you.
No need to thank me. Thank Lord Hendris for covering the order and the cost.
First rule of the game, my dear. When someone offers their life of servitude to you, feed them well, or acknowledge their presence. If not their part, you'll see them being less distinguished in their work ethics for the end goal. Miss Galantine, Lord Rodgers, Lady Buck.
Look, there goes wild Hindress, taunting its enemies, trying to make silly look evolved. To put the hay in the orange and eat the candle.
Come on now, Lord Rodgers. Let's take you home.
Hearken! The chocolate mousse angel has come to help me cross the crossing. To go where no raccoon has gone before. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, he's fine. He just needs a little fresh air.
Woo!
I'll take him to his stead and explain to Lottie.
No need, Miss Gallatin.
Lottie! Oh, my sweet honeysuckle.
Hush, you. Your colleague told me what happened. What possessed you to...
It's my fault, my lady. I used your cookie tin when my mistress pulled it out of the messenger bag to...
It's all... What was my tin doing in an ancient artifact, Eugenius? I thought I told you to give it straight to them.
I did what you asked, Turtle Dove. I placed it there to surprise Vincini and the pups in case they got hungry during their journey to the Stone Forest. I didn't know that the messenger bat had a wicked sense of humor. I'm so sorry, my beautiful nocturnal bride. I'll go back to Valar.
Oh, hush, you fool. If I'm seen with two creatures groveling at my feet in public, I'll never hear the end of it from Mariah and the girls. And you. I accept your apology, but on the condition that you help my mate and his associates. If they cause mischief, report to me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You must be the one that Eugenius told me about. I'm Lord Rodgers. Thank you so much for looking after Vinci. If you need anything, my home is always open to you all. Now, Ms. Gao, I paid for your tab. Do you mind carrying my mate back home with me?
Of course, my lady, and thank you. It's a pleasure meeting y'all. And I'll see you in a few weeks, lad. Good night.
Yes, girl? It was Lord Hindress who informed me after my social gathering with the ladies. He told me what happened with the tinned case, with the little creature here. Knowing that Eugenius would panic, I had a friend watch over my young son while I came here, knowing that it's his go-to spot. Oh, don't display that look, boy. Not all individuals are what they seem. Asher Hindress just happens to have a raven's mindset of action and trickery. His endgame, from what I understand, is a mystery. Yet, it is as obvious as one's secret motivations.
As we walked down the streets, the sound of two men speaking in hardened tones captured their attention. What drew them closer was that one of the voices they identified as Lord Hindress. The other they did not recognize.
My lord, she's getting restless on matters of her abilities. Her influence of power to hold Bardac's decisions is displaying abuse of power, and all to save your reputation and skin.
You yourself claimed that she managed a mission without her brush.
And will continue to do so. I also heard and learned from several resources that 3 individuals had reached out to her for collaboration and assistance. She's more like a caged animal. The longer you neglect her needs, the more the terms are not addressed, and the more likely she'll go rogue thanks to your empty promises.
My hands are tied.
Cut the road apples on my hands are tied, Ishar. Promises you cannot keep are no better than lies. For someone who claimed that she had great talent, you're cynical enough to the point where even I question the hypocrisy and hidden gaslighting in honeycoat disguises.
You go too far, Asher.
With all due respect, my lord. But I only agreed to this because 2 kings are in a delicate situation, and to leave an Artisan Steward that is brewing for release would only attract Andres and Anya to do something if they learned of the situation we are all in with her. They will attempt to make a deal with her in exchange for...
Those novices that you assigned and mentioned fondly will keep her from such temptations. This is serious, Asher. As you said, she will be entering dangerous grounds. Sure, she got lucky with the dragon in the Emir's territory, but Andres the Condemned is an entirely different beast, as well as his sister.
Both that you have failed to capture.
My point is, if Victoria does anything out of line, know that she won't be under your protection, Lord Hindress.
I think you mean the Thalamian Council.
I choose to follow through with your scheme, so she wouldn't suspect that the Congressional Congress is observing her. But now, I can clearly see that you are just trying to butter me up for more than our mortal duties, Asher. Keep your hands out of reach. Only report if absolutely necessary. And Asher.
Yes.
don't give historians an opportunity to explain to future generations that nations went to war due to your personal desires.
You know nothing of what my desires are. You never know what one desires other than your own and what you wish to see. Anyone who lives in that singular mindset without adapting and benefiting from it will only have shattered results.
What? I smell food. Wait. Oh, mistress. Please take me away fast.
You'll doom us all with your stone walls, Issachar, allowing others to bleed for you over the long suffering of others. You know nothing. And make her help Vinci prove you and the others wrong.